Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is Friday, April 17th. This is the fourth reading lesson on the antebellum period, and it is due Monday, April 20th. Once again, there is the reading posted here, along with a video, a short video on the election of Abraham Lincoln, and then, of course, the reading response questions, which you'll need to make a copy of, answer, and then turn back into classroom. Today's reading is titled Lincoln's Election and Southern Secession. And as it says up here, you're going to learn how the 1860 election led to the secession of the southern states from the Union. Please say that word, secession. So, secession goes along with one of our vocabulary terms, the term secede, to formally withdraw from the Union. That is, states are going to say, hey man, I'm no longer a part of the Union or the United States. So secession is the process of states leaving the Union. We have some new terms here. Everyone say platform. In politics, this is a statement of beliefs. Political parties typically have a platform. It's basically their position on particular issues. In the case of this election, one platform that many parties had a position on was slavery. Today, a political party might have a platform on an issue like immigration. The Confederate States of America, was a confederation formed by the seceded southern states. We're going to talk about that today. These are the states that will break away from the Union. Jefferson Davis will become the president of this confederacy or Confederate States of America. And lastly, there's this thing called the Crittenden Plan, which was a last-minute effort to prevent secession and the breaking up of the Union. The first part of this reading talks about the election of 1860 and how the political parties are kind of divided. It talks about the Republicans and Democrats and how they're divided geographically and divided on the issue of slavery. But I really want to skip ahead here to the election of 1860. This is the election. If you guys take a look here, remember the Electoral College is the system we use to elect the president. And you can see here that the Republican Party's nomination was for Lincoln, and he won pretty much the entire North and the West Coast, essentially the free states. You can see here that the Southern Democrats backed Breckinridge, and he pretty much won the entire South. And then you have this Constitutional Union, which was a third party political party, and they won some of these border states here. And then you had another Democrat that won a few states. So basically, the way that the electoral vote broke down is that Lincoln won the election. Now, why does this matter? Well, Lincoln is a Republican. And as a member of the Republican Party, it's an anti-slavery party, and Southerners were very scared about his election. They believed that he was going to disband slavery in the South, and so they were distrusting of him. It tells us here that Lincoln actually made it very clear during his election that he had no intention of ending slavery or messing with slavery in the South. But regardless, the Southern states did not trust him. So secession begins, and really secession began with South Carolina. And it says here, we mean it this time. South Carolina had threatened to leave the Union several times earlier in the 1800s over other issues concerning slavery and states' rights. But really, secession, it not only begins with South Carolina, but one by one, states over the next few months would secede or break away from the Union. So notice here, South Carolina in 1860, that's a month after Lincoln is elected president. And then Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, all of these southern states begin their secession. They're formally withdrawing from the Union and saying, hey man, we're no longer a part of this United States. And they formed what was called the Confederate States of America. And so literally this is dividing America into two nations, in the North and in the West, what we would call the United States of America. And in the South now, this new republic called the Confederate States of America, also known as the Confederacy. They will name Jefferson Davis as their president. Now the North is like, man, you guys can't do this. This isn't, you can't do this. And they said that once you enter into a union, you can't leave. And the South said, no, this is we're a country built on freedom. It's a voluntary thing. And so over the issue of slavery, the South will secede. At the end, there was kind of a last-ditch effort by some senators in Congress, Kentucky and some other border states that really tried to find some way to get the southern states to just hang on, right? But unfortunately, it would not happen. So unfortunately, by the early 1861, these states had seceded. Lincoln was now forced to do something about it, and this would launch what would become known as the Civil War, which is what we'll study next. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the reading. It's pretty short. There's some questions here. Please answer and respond to them. And once again, if you have any questions, please email me, let me know. I hope you guys have a good weekend. Work hard. Be nice.